What's up, you salty, salty sea dogs? So, like I said, I have a special video. I decided to go ahead and purchase some maintenance stuff for the boat. These are things that need to get done every so often, especially after using the boat a lot. One of the things I got was serpentine belt. The one I originally had put on after I purchased the boat was not the one specifically made for the Volvo Penta, so it was just like a generic serpentine belt. So it didn't really last that long. Probably only lasted about 20 hours, give or take. So I ended up buying one specifically for the Volvo Penta. This one's made specifically for my engine, which is the 5.0. Actually three other things I got were these rubber gaskets. Very tiny, pretty cheap. This one here is actually like a styrofoam gasket. And then one of the other important things, especially for a boat like this, I'm sure a lot of my boaters have replaced these before. This is our impeller for the engine. So those three things here definitely need to get replaced. I should have done it a little while ago, but I've just been kind of really busy. And now that I have time, because this COVID-19 crap, I'm going to be doing the maintenance on the boat and probably going out a little bit more. Could have gone out a couple of weeks ago and last week, but I wanted to wait until I got these parts in. So that's what we're going to do today, and I'll post this also for if anybody else has my particular type of engine or this particular type of boat. I've actually looked up and tried to find videos on how to change the serpentine belt and change the impeller on this particular model engine, and I could not find anything. So we'll use that as a guide for hopefully somebody else. And I also have another toy, and I'm going to try and do a video on this as well with this. So I got myself a new action camera, and this one is wireless, so I can do everything through my phone. And I also have a kind of like a wristwatch type device that connects to the camera as well, so I can record or take shots anywhere I want to. So with that said, I'm going to end this here, and I'm going to get my hatch open, and then we're going to get started on the fun. So make sure you stay tuned. Alright, so here's my beautiful engine. It's my 5.0 GXi, and this is a Volvo Penta. She got plenty of power, believe me. She pushes this boat, even with me and my two boys, and maybe even like a half a tank of gas. Definitely push this boat around 40, 45. I've had it up to almost 55 with just myself. So it's got plenty of power. It's actually pretty fuel efficient, believe it or not. So basically one of my first steps I have to do is there is a backrest plate here. It's also a access panel. There's 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, and 4. You take those screws out, and then it lifts right out. I did not put that on video because it's just pretty simple and easy. So it does give you some access to the belt. Okay, I don't know why it's flickering like that, but that's weird. Anywho, so like I said, it does give you access to your belt and gives you access to your pump. That's your water housing pump. That's where your impeller actually goes, is inside that red pump area. You have 2 hoses down here that you have to disconnect, and you have on this one, I believe it's 5 sets of screws that hold the actual housing in, so you have to take those off to pull that out. For the belt, it's actually pretty simple. You have the tensioner right here. You just hook that up to a wrench and socket, and you release the pressure, and that'll pop right off. Now, I am going to warn you, if you have this particular type of engine and you're trying to do your serpentine belt, there is that little metal rod right there that connects to the engine block and to your to the water pump housing. Now, there's no way, because I've tried, there's no way to get around not taking that off. So I highly suggest that if you're doing your serpentine belt, that you change your impeller, or vice versa. If you change your impeller, change your serpentine belt, because either way, that's got to come off. So, like I said, pretty simple. Take the 2 hoses, take those off, pops right out. You might have to wiggle it a little bit, and once you get that off, then you're going to change your gaskets. I highly recommend that if you're changing your impeller, you buy the complete kit that comes with the rubber gaskets. It's just a good idea to do it along. So, well, that's pretty much for that. So I'm going to reset up the camera, and then I'm going to start taking off the screws to the housing and start taking off the hoses here. Alright, so first I'm going to start taking off these rubber water hoses here, and I'm assuming most engines will have exactly what I have on mine. So you're going to take your flathead screwdriver and you're going to unscrew the screw to loosen up your clamp, and then just loosen it up enough so you can wiggle and take it off. And then you let it go, and yep, still got a little bit of water left in there. And then for the second one, let's just bring it down all the way down here crooked. Alright, hopefully you guys can see this. It's a little bit of a long process, and like I said, it's really tight, so you don't get a lot of room to work in. So you want to make sure that all these bolts come off. Not bolts, but actually screws. Get them loose enough where you can actually undo them by hand. That'll help out a lot. And of course there is one that's very hard to get at, and that's usually the one that's the biggest pain. Alright, so this is the housing for your impeller. This part right here, this is the impeller. I'm going to show you what it looks like in a second here. So, as you can see, that's where the housing went, right where that shaft came out, and then you have that big metal rod. So now that all that is out, I'm going to take off the serpentine belt. Now, there's usually a sticker either on or by the engine, which will show you which way the belt is supposed to go. Mine does not have it for some reason, but I put these on, well, this will be my third time. So, but the manual that I have for the boat, it tells me that, or you can also go online and you can actually find it too. So, let me reposition the camera here, and I'm going to do the serpentine belt. Alright, so it's a little rusty, but I use this for the tension pulley, so I don't really use this for anything else, so that's why it looks like garbage. But as you can see, you got your tension pulley right here. This is a 60 millimeter, so you're just going to take that and push it to the right, and then pull the belt right off, and then let the tension pulley go. Now, the rest of the belt comes right off. Voila! There's the old belt. A little cracked. I know it won't show up on the camera, but it is a little cracked on the edges, so that'll be a good thing to replace that. Alright, so now let's reposition this camera here. Alright, so yeah, outboard have these, inboards, so always make sure you check them when you do replace them. Obviously make sure you get your gaskets, always replace those at the same time. And like I said earlier, very important, if you're doing a serpentine belt, replace this as well, or if you're replacing this, do your serpentine belt as well. Because like I said, for my particular engine, you can only get at your serpentine belt if you take this off, otherwise you'll never get it off. So I'm going to take a look down inside to the shaft that connects to this, just to see how that looks, and then we'll start right back up. Alright, so I filmed this on my other new camera just to see how it worked. Hopefully it came out pretty good, but that is the brand new impeller. They do recommend that you use a non-petroleum based lubricant to get this back in. If you do not have anything like that at your house or in your garage, you can actually go out and buy them. They come in little tubes, or you can just use a little bit of soap and water. Do not make it too soapy. You just want it just enough, just so you know when you're squeezing it back in and you're moving it around, it makes it a little bit easier. But you don't want suds going through. So so that's that part there. I'm gonna put this back on, and I put the new rubber gasket down there. I don't know if you will see. Let's see here. There's a rubber gasket that goes right here. You put that on there, and then this right here slides into your impeller, and then of course you have the holes which the screws go into, so when you clamp it in, it's all nice and watertight. That's the theory. So with that new one on, this in, I'm going to put this back together, and then actually no, I'm sorry, first I got to put my serpentine belt back on. I got to do my brand new one, and then we can put that back on. So I'll see you in a second. Alright, so we got the brand new serpentine belt on. Only took me a couple minutes, and surprisingly, I did find it. Let's see if I can get a good angle on here. It was actually covered up in some dirt. Excuse me. So this actually right here, I know it doesn't show up very good, but that's actually the layout of the belt. So it'll tell you which ways the belt has to go over which pulleys and vice versa. So this one was pretty simple to get back on. If it doesn't seem to be like evenly on your pulleys, don't worry. As soon as you start it up, it'll actually work its way in line. So now with that done, now I'm going to put back on the housing with the impeller. I'm sorry, there's people walking by. So alright, so let me put that back on and I'll be right back. Alright, so I got the housing back on. I'm not gonna lie, it is a little bit of a pain in the butt getting that back on. Coming off is nice and easy, but with the new impeller being stiff and brand new, it does make it hard. That's why they do recommend that you put the lube on there. It does help. So you are going to have to finesse it a little bit. Once you do get it lined up, you can use the screws to finish bringing it in. So that's actually what I'm going to do right now. I have 3 out of the 5 screws lightly set. So I'm just going to slowly tighten them up, and that'll bring it fully forward, nice and flush, right up to the gasket. And then once that's done, then we're going to connect the 2 inlet and outlet. And then once that's done, I'm going to hook it up to the water, and we're going to give it a nice little test.